Okay, so just a quick update video here. So as you probably are aware if you've seen the last video, this main mount bracket for the Raptor Supercharger didn't quite fit. The main issue is this bracket here is, it's probably more like about, I thought it was 10mm out, but it's definitely more. I'm not going to get into measuring exactly how far out it is. Really that whole bracket needs to be cut off and re-put back on in the right spot, but for me it was easier to cut a notch out of the aircon compressor mounting point there. So I cut, it's probably about 11mm out of it, but then I found it was still a bit tight, so I actually kinked that over a bit to make it a bit more, well, fit with less interference. On the other side, we've so that bolt hole there I've had to chamfer. That's where the tapered screw goes in. I'll just grab that like that, so it actually sits a bit more flush, because I found it was actually, that wasn't chamfered at all, and so the countersunk screw was sitting out and it was actually rubbing on the back of the power steering pulley, so that mounts in through that hole there. And I did find that hole there was very slightly out of alignment, but I found I've chamfered it slightly, and if you leave everything loose and start that bolt first, and then you can get all the others started pretty easy, and then you can, now I've got it so you can actually wriggle the bracket around a bit, which should make fitting the intake tube to the blower a bit easier. I've had a closer look at that. I've got that off, and we're gonna, so on the strut tower it actually hits on both sides, but if you rotate the whole intake tube very slightly anti-clockwise, it gives you heaps of clearance on the right hand side, but it's hard on the left hand side there. So I've got that at an engineer's. He's going to cut I've marked it, we're going to cut a section out of it, bring it back, mount it all up, see what sort of clearance we've got, and then decide whether we put a flat bit on the back or concave it in slightly. But yeah, so definitely my one needs modifying. It's definitely an interference not fit. But the sort of thing I find a bit annoying about that is there's heaps of room for that whole intake tube to roll forward towards the blower. There's no need for it to be rolled back so far and so close to the strut tower, making it such a tight fit. I'm not sure why they've gone with the trying to get it to have like no clearance there. You could easily roll it forward 10mm, have like 10mm clearance, and it'd just fit easy. But so I don't know if their jigs have got out over time, or whoever they're using now to make them up's not doing it quite right, but it's definitely not quite fitting on my motor. So yeah, we'll modify that, make it work. Another wee update here, I decided to clean up the top plate of the plenum. I'd already painted the thing, as I think you've seen in the other video. So I was going to polish this, but I cleaned off the top on the linishing belt, and the finish lines going across it. The camera doesn't really do it proper justice, and the lighting's not the best in here. But yeah, it actually looks really good, so I'm going to put it on like that. And after a few test fit scenarios, the intake pipe has got a notch out of it. The biggest clearance issue is right through there. That radius is right at the top radius of the strut tower. You probably could leave that section, but when I did my first marks with it, I marked a little bit low on the low side, but I'll be sad if it doesn't clear. We'll see. We'll test fit it and then clean it all up and paint it, hopefully, and then put it on. Yay! Okay, so we actually finally have the intake pipe in there now. Let's have a look at the clearance with the big notch we did in it. Be a bit hard to capture on camera, I think, but oh no, you can see in there. So we've got like, it looks like a reasonable amount in the camera, but like I can barely fit the tip of my finger through. Like I can't fit the tip of my finger in there. But yeah, it clears. It clears. It fits. It fits. It is sitting on the loom. Can we capture that? So I think I'm going to reroute this bit of loom here. Can I see it? Basically sits down on that bit of loom there. Rerouting it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass because the loom hones off down through here, down to the ABS sensor. So I'm probably going to have to cut and lengthen those wires if I want to move that main bit of loom away. But yeah, we're whoa, finally got it in. That was easy. Just bolt straight on. Not. Okay, another quick update. Sunday morning, Saturday turned into a complete battle in the end with the bloody fuel line for the fuel filter. Apparently the fuel line nut is seized onto the fuel filter. It is turning into a huge battle, and I'm trying to just pull the fuel filter and the whole, it's the tail side, so that can unclip from down by the fuel tank with some crazy clip I've never seen and don't know how to unclip. So I'm going to try and pull that out so I can get it all into a vise and battle that. But as you can see, most of the intakes all together, superchargers in, intake pressure pipes in. I just need to put the blow-off valve piping on. It's an insanely tight fit to clear to the air temp sensor. That location's probably not that ideal. It could, I mean, probably ideally go back here, be a lot more out of the way, or forward a bit more. And that's with the I mean, I could roll it down a little bit more, but we're certainly, I mean, there's not a lot of clearance there. I don't think I'd really want it any or much less. I still need to lengthen the MAF sensor wires and just fit the MAF and the filter in that. That's not a biggie. But yep, coming along, starting to bloody spit, so I thought I'd take a quick update in case the weather turns to complete shit today, because this might be as far as I get, but hopefully not. Back to work. So I've managed to get the belt on and idler on, MAF on and air filter on and so on. As you can see, it's pretty much almost all done under the bonnet, except hooking up the map sensor and also hooking up the blow-off valve tube. I'm going to order a bit of 32mm silicone hose because the corrugated pipe that comes with the kit is an extremely tight fit over this quite an aggressive flare. I heated it up in boiling water to the point where it was rubbery soft and I still couldn't get it on. It's just fucking hell. He-Man himself must be fitting all those hoses to the other kits because I can't get it on. It's just insanely tight. So yeah, I don't foresee us running it up today. I still haven't had a chance to try and death battle the freaking fuel filter fitting to get that off, and it came undone a couple of turns and then seized solid, so I can't even do it up to fire it up or anything. It's really horrific. So I think it might be time to stop for a break, and then I can go and do better with that. And oh yeah, and I still need to lengthen the MAF plug wires down to there and get that on, but again, not a biggie. One concern that I will mention is it's going to be hard to see with the camera, but the idler pulley sits out slightly too far by about 1.5 mil. So the belt sort of slightly runs off the back of it, and the belt to bracket clearance is insanely close. There is clearance, but it's only like 1.5 mil. So I'm hoping the way it's hanging off the back of the idler, it's not going to try and make the belt walk that way inward and rub on the freaking bracket, but it has got the guided pulley on the supercharger and on the power steering pump, so hopefully that's fine. But oh, it's finally slowly coming together. It has been a long process. Talk about a build that has battled me every step of the way, but it is starting to look good. Hope you guys like the progress, and if you do, throw a like this way. Cheers guys.